What is going on, people? Welcome to your second wxPython tutorial. I bet you all are terribly excited for this because in this tutorial we are going to be making panels in our first button. That's what I'm talking about. And in case you don't know what a panel is, it's pretty much the container that's going to hold all your buttons and all your other cool stuff. So let's go ahead and we're going to be working inside the class that we built last time. So let's get inside this init method we just built. Let's go ahead and add some more stuff. So we have a frame built right here, but we want to build a panel as well. So in order to do that, let's go ahead and name it whatever we want. I'm going to name it panel so I don't forget, and set it equal to wx.panel with a capital P, and the parameter it takes is self. Bam, look at that, our panel's created. So this is pretty much, well, let's go ahead and add a button, then you'll see what it is. To create a button, what you do is set it equal to wx button period button with a capital B, and the parameter it takes is first the parent of it, which is panel. Now again, since this button is in this panel, that's why you have to write what the parent is right here. If you don't write panel, it's not going to be inside the panel, so make sure to do that. So after that, we need to give our button a label, and this is what the text is on our button. So what I'm going to want this button to do is exit the program. So I'm going to write label equals exit. Again, you can write whatever you want, but I'm going to make it exit the program, so that's what it does. The parameter after this is the position. So that's POS equals, and you write it to whatever you want the position to be on the screen. The first is the X coordinates, or left and right, and I'm going to have mine, let's say 130 away from the left hand side and 10 pixels down from the top. So that's where my button is going to be, but we didn't say how big our button is going to be. So let's go ahead and do that right now with our size parameter. And let's say we want it 60 wide by 60 tall. So now we created a panel and a button inside the panel that's going to say exit. It's going to be right there, and it's going to be 60 by 60. It's going to be a square box. So now we have a panel and a button, but we don't really have any actions on them yet. So let's go ahead, and we have this button, but we want to say, alright, when we click the button, we want to exit the program. Right now we just have a button, and if we click on it, it's just going to say, alright, you're clicking on me, now what? So let's go ahead, and what we need to do this is bind an event to a widget, or bind an event to the button. So let's go ahead and type self period bind, and this allows us to bind events like clicks to actions such as exit the program. So let's go ahead, and of course we need parameters. And the first thing we type is what, well, let me show you, wx.event evt, all in capitals, underscore button. And this means the event we're talking about here is clicking the button. So now that we have an event, we can have an action. So what's the event? Clicking a button. What's the action? Well, let's go ahead and make a function called close button. Now this function isn't created yet. We're gonna have to create that ourselves, but for now, let's just say whenever we hit this button or call the event button, we want you to do a function called close button. And again, we want to apply this to the button. So go ahead and whatever you typed for your name up here, put it right here. And we also want to close the window whenever we hit X on the window. So put self bind, and in our parameters for this, put evt wx evt underscore close. Come on, keyboard. Underscore close. And whenever we do this, we want to put self, we'll name it close window or something. So now whenever we hit the button, it's going to make a function called close button, and whenever we hit the X on our window, it's going to call a function called close window. but we don't have those functions yet, so we have to write them right now. So our first one is called close button, and we want that to take the parameters of self and event, and I'll go over that more in depth later. But for now, what I want to happen when I close this button is just to close this class. So put self close, and in parameters put true. And now this is our function, so whenever we hit the button we want to do this function right here. So whenever we hit the button, call self close button closes it. And we need to build one just like this for, what do we name this, close window. So close window, and this is gonna of course take the same parameter, self event, and this one is a little bit different, self destroy, a little more violent. So this is how you close it using a button, this is how you close it using the window. So let me go ahead and run this, and then I'll talk you guys through it one more time. First we need to save it, don't want to forget that. Hit F5, hopefully I didn't get any errors. So the first thing I'm going to do is hit this to escape it, and then let's run it again, and also when I hit X it escapes. So let me bring this up one more time and I'll talk you guys through it. Where are you at? Right there. So what we did in this tutorial is created a panel, and this panel is the background. You see the buttons right here, the panel is what's around it. Now if you're saying why didn't you just put the button right in the frame instead of it having put in the panel and then the panel in the frame, well, it just organizes it better, and in a couple tutorials to come you'll see why. But after that we created a button with the label exit, as you can see, and the size was 60 by 60. As you can see, this button is a square box, 60 by 60 pixels. Next we had an event, and we wanted to bind an event with a function. So the event was button, which means whenever we click the button, and the function was close it. So whenever we click the button it did this, close this class. And aside from that, we also, let me get rid of this, we also made another event which is close the window, and we had this destroy this class. So again, this is one way to close it, this is another way to close it. So that's your quick tutorial on how to make panels, and also how to bind events to, well, buttons or windows, whatever you want, and how to call a function whenever you hit one of these events. So again, you can make a function like, say, output something, and then it would say whatever. But that's for another tutorial at another day at another time. So for now, just play around, create a couple buttons, write a couple functions, and I'll be going over events in depth and also functions on WX in depth. But I know you guys were getting antsy and you wanted to add something, so that's just a quick tutorial. If you don't understand it exactly for now, then trust me, it's fine. I'll clear things up as we go on. But for now, thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and make sure to watch my next tutorial.